Hey friends, and welcome back to Stronger Every Day. So today we're going to talk about just kind of a day in the life of someone who struggles with depression and anxiety, and being a Christian and how all that kind of intertwines and relates. So I've told you a lot lately about how we have several people that we love and care about in our lives that are going through very hard times. And it seems like there's always someone else we're kind of adding to our prayer list. And that can be hard when it just seems like, I've said before, something good, something really good has to be coming for all of this to kind of be just coming and being thrown on us all at one time. So I wanted to talk about today the kind of the day of living with that and dealing with that, and how you make it through and keep going through days that aren't easy and times that aren't easy. Am I in the depths of depression and anxiety right now? No. You know, I don't just come on here and talk and not follow the advice that I'm giving. I give that advice because it has worked for me. I have a situation going on right now in my life that is very stressful, and there's a lot of not knowing, and there's a lot of waiting to know. And man, does the devil love it when you're in that situation, right? Because he can really start getting some crap in your mind about everything that's going on. And so I've had to kind of practice what I preach, right? Several people that we are actively praying for are going through medical struggles and medical health things, and hard medical health struggles and medical health things. And you know, we've offered a lot of support, so it's not like we're just throwing out these one phrasers. And I always kind of try to caution when I'm talking to you guys, because, or when we're talking together, because I don't want you to think that it's kind of a one and done, right? This is this is almost 3 decades of me dealing with depression and anxiety, and I can't cover every aspect and everything in a 20, 30, 40 an hour video. It just doesn't happen. So I take moments and sections and kind of go from there. But a lot of the people, we've talked about just lean into God, just trust God, lean into Him. I don't understand why this is happening. I can't say that it makes sense, but He is there with you. He's right there. And a lot of times we've prayed for His hand and for His hands to be on every surgeon and every nurse, every orderly, everyone that's come in and helped that person, that God's touch has been on them to help them get better and stronger quicker, and help the doctors and the staff and the different physicians to make the best decision that can possibly be to help them in their care. And I know ahead of time that that's difficult. It's so much easier to say it when you're not the one having to live it. So it's kind of me living it right now, right? It's been a couple weeks of having a certain issue, and going to the doctor and waiting, right? The waiting period and not knowing. And I remember on the way to the doctor, I was getting a lot of anxiety, getting very emotional, and I just automatically said, no, we're not going to go down this. We're not going to chase these thoughts. We're gonna change it. I put on some praise and worship music, and I finished my drive there. Same on the way back. The night before I went, it was 1,000 thoughts racing through my head, and I could not get them to stop. And so I was talking to a friend, one of you guys on Instagram, and I said, I just sat there just repeating Jesus, Jesus, Jesus over and over until I was finally able to fall asleep. And Jesus, he can heal you from depression and anxiety. Understand that yes, 100% depression, anxiety, bipolar, schizophrenia, all of the different mental health illnesses, God can heal you. He can touch and heal your situation. For me, he has chosen not to do that for almost 3 decades. And we've talked about, that's why I started this channel, because I was literally on the floor just crying, wanting to understand why, why is this happening? And he said, because I want you to help people that are going through your same situation. And I look at that as a gift that I finally know the reason why this is happening. He's not lifted that from me. I still have struggles. I still have bad days. I still have bad moments. I still have a lot of anxiety in different situations, and it's not a one and done and I'm fixed, right? It's day and day and day and day and day. Sometimes it's moment by moment by moment that we're having to do what other people that don't struggle with mental illness don't have to do, right? My husband gets up every day and goes to work, and there's days that he's not just doing cartwheels because he's got to go to work that day, but he gets up. It's not a thought process for him. He gets up, gets a shower, goes to work, does his job, comes home, helps on the homestead, helps with the kids, helps if I need something. I've told you before, we do a thing with our community, so there's times that we're out on different things with that. We try to help neighbors and friends anytime we need to, and it's just another activity basically for him. But for me, and for someone who struggles with anxiety and depression, it's you have a circumstance and you're wrapping your head around the entire thing and every possible way that something can go wrong, right? Or something can go right or wrong. You've got it all planned out from A to Z of all the different things, and it brings a lot of anxiety for me when it is something that's sprung on me, like, hey, oh, I forgot we need to go do this tonight. Sometimes it's better, but most of the time it isn't. Sometimes if I don't have time to think about it, it plays out better, but there are other times that it absolutely stresses me out to not know that something kind of popped up and we have to get it done. Sometimes he said before, would it help you if I just kind of basically, not in a non-loving way, but basically, this might not be the best choice of words, but basically shake it off, let's go outside, let's go do this, let's not, kind of withdraw into, your safe space, which for me, we've talked about is my home, and in particular, my bedroom. And no, I don't need someone, for me personally, I don't need someone to lead me that way, because as I've stated before, sometimes you need to allow yourself some grace to just take that day and decompress from everything that's going on around you. And I've often said, I don't see anything wrong with that, for you taking a day just to kind of decompress. What happens is when you stay in that place and it lasts for days and weeks and months, that's when it potentially turns into a problem. So like I said, it's different for everybody, and that's fine. To me, there's no ABCs of how people react when someone struggles with mental health issues. So what has been happening lately, and if there's a need to tell you more later, I will. Right now, I don't know what's going on. So it's been we always tell everyone, rely on the Lord. He's right there with you. He's taking care of you. And I believe that wholeheartedly. And I believe he's right with me in this situation, but it's living it, right, day by day. And I actually was talking about how there's so many different people right now that are in different situations where we've said, we're here for you if you need us. God is with you, rely on him, trust in him. He's right beside you, walking you through this. I hope that you feel that, and you feel his presence and his love. And I hope he takes some of the anxiety and being scared. And when we don't know the answer to something, the unknown can drive us absolutely bonkers. And I've had to practice that the last, little bit. And it's, I told my husband, you know, so much I strive to be one of those Christians when hard times come, that I have no fear of it, because I love the Lord and I trust the Lord and I know that He's in control, even if that being in control of my situation means that I'm gonna be going home sooner than later. That being, I guess, the quote unquote worst case scenario in our minds, right, is us not making it and not surviving. I'm gonna be going home to Jesus, right? I'm gonna be going home and seeing Him and all of my family, all of my you know, just a beautiful place that I would never come back from. So, but it's been hard because I'm not at that level yet. And I feel like there's steps of Christianity where, you know, when we first accept God as our personal Savior, and we are kind of baby Christians. And, you know, for a while that's good, because it's like your kids, you know, when they're 5, if you start them in a sport, they're not going to be a pro athlete at 5. They're going to grow every single year and become stronger and stronger. And that's how it is being a Christian. The more you study, the more you read, the more you pray, the more you have a relationship with God, the more you learn, the stronger of a Christian that you become. And I'm not that person yet, right? I'm not the person that says I have no fear and I'm not gonna shed a tear. And I told Nick, it's almost like I'm trying to put on a facade that everything's fine and that I'm fine and that I'm not feeling what I'm feeling, because I don't want to let God down. Basically, I don't want Him to think that I don't trust in Him and that I don't know that He's in control. And the all actuality is He already knows what's in my heart. He knows that there's fear in my heart. He knows there's uncertainty and there's concern. He knows that I'm scared and that I'm nervous and that I don't want to have to go through what it potentially could be, but it could also be other things that aren't really that big of a deal. And so He already knows my heart. He already knows that I'm having these emotions, and having the emotions is not that you don't trust the Lord. You can have emotions. You can have fear and be scared of the unknown of the situation, and also know at the same time that no matter what, God's in control. And so when things happen, you know, if you're having a medical situation, or if you're having a panic attack, or if you're having things where you're struggling and thinking, where is God? I'm going through this and I can't feel Him right now. Understand that during that time, He's actually carrying you through that. And God loves us so much that even if there's a lack of faith, even if, you know, you get some kind of diagnosis and you break down and cry, that's not a lack of faith. That's being human. That's having human emotions. And that's, God's right there with you still. And so I think sometimes I definitely don't want to come on here and discourage people in any way. Yes, you can be cured of depression and anxiety and any other mental illness. You can be cured. There are medicines that can help. There's diet change. There's vitamins. There's a plethora of knowledge out there about things that can help you actually be cured from mental health illnesses. There's people that have situational depression or even seasonal depression that it goes away and you never deal with it again, especially the situational depression. But there's people like me who that has not been lifted from me. It's been so much better the last 9 months. I mean, Nick and I were talking, we've talked, you know, a little bit to each other about kind of what's going on. And he said, you know, it's it's pretty amazing, because all these things that are happening and the way that you're responding now is clearly God handling the situation for you. Because you would have, he said, even a year ago, it would have been completely different. It doesn't take away all the things that are happening. We have some serious things that are happening. We've got family members who can't get approved for certain things for insurance. We have friends who can't get approved for certain things for insurance that would be beneficial to them. We have friends and family that are struggling with medical issues. We have friends that are struggling with job loss, with just a plethora of things, accidents, you know, just all kinds of things happening. And, you know, in a positive way, I think Christians say, well, just pray about it and God will take care of it. And that is so true. Pray and God is right there with you. But don't just insignificantly spout out words, right? Be there for that person. God didn't call you to just spout out a verse and then walk away from that person. He wants you to be there with them and for them. And if they need water, or if they need something to drink, or if they need food, do it. If they need their, you know, right now it's, when you're seeing this, it'll be a little later, but it's mowing season. Go mow their yard, take the trash out, pressure wash their home, stain their deck, cut their trees, de-weed their garden, water their house plants for them, go to the grocery store. There's so many different things. It's not just spouting out a verse and, well, God will provide, just pray about it. Yes, he will. Yes, he will always provide. It may not be the answer and what we had envisioned, but he will always provide. But don't just spout out a verse or a quote that makes you feel spiritual when someone's struggling. Be there for them. And we've tried very hard to touch each and every person that's going through something lately and be there for them, more than just spouting out, you know, God's with you and he loves you. And that is important to let them know that God is always with them and he loves you. But when you're in excruciating pain, and you have been for over a week, and an entire medical facility can't quite figure out what's going on, telling you at that point in time, God loves you. Yes, he does. But what can I do, right? What can I do besides maybe get some prayer warriors and just hit your knees and start praying hard? Maybe you take them something to the hospital that might bring a little smile. Maybe you just show up at the hospital and try to be there for them, make them laugh, take their mind off anything you can do. Maybe you swing by if they're home and just cut and weed the yard and go on. Like, you don't even have to tell them it was you. It's not about you. It's about little things that you can do for them. And it's been difficult because a lot of the time, especially the past 2 or 3 days, I have wanted to just break down in tears and cry, because it's unknown, it's scary, and you've got the devil telling you partial truths about things that could be, and about family history and all of that, and he's just spouting out those lies. And it, you know, I struggled, and I think a lot of Christians struggle with, well, if I show fear, or if I show sadness, or if I show that I'm scared, then I'm clearly not trusting the Lord. We have those emotions for a reason. It's how we react to those emotions. I can speak out loud that I am scared, and that there's a lot of unknown, and it's unnerving, and it's giving me anxiety. That doesn't mean I don't love the Lord. It means I'm going to run even closer to him than maybe I was a week ago, because I need him. I have personally not told a soul about this other than my husband and of course you guys, but like I said, you're going to be seeing this some weeks after today. I have some videos stacked up because I struggle with depression and anxiety, and there's some weeks that filming just isn't there for me. So when I'm having a good week or a good couple weeks, I go ahead and stockpile a few videos so that I allow myself to take off without skipping a Monday. So it's been rewarding and challenging at the same time to feel like there's nothing I can do about it except talk to God about it. And I've purposely not told anyone else, not because I don't have good friends and family who love me, but because I wanted to lean straight on God for it. I didn't want to get on the phone and talk to my best friend or my family, or, you know, good close friends or whoever. I've talked to Nick, obvious, because the things that are happening are obvious to him. But whereas I would normally, you know, text a couple of really good friends and talk with them about what's going on and go through all the emotion with them and then get their side of things, it's just been me and God talking, and I love that. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't. For me, for this situation, for me this time, that's what worked for me. I don't ever want you to feel like, well, that's how she said do it and that's what worked for her, so that's the only way that will work. We're all so different. That's what makes us special. That's what makes us beautiful. That's what makes us unique, is situations that happen, we all handle them differently, and there's not a wrong way. It's just different. That's all I've said. You know, some comments that get said on here, I don't agree with some things that are said, but it doesn't mean I'm right and they're wrong, or they're right and I'm wrong. It's just different opinions. We're allowed to have them, and we can still love one another. I wish we could get that through our heads. We don't have to think, talk, speak, look, sound, dress alike, or I don't want anything to do with you. We're all different, and that's a good thing. That's an amazing thing, right? And I don't know why we try to demonize being different, and that if you don't do all the things like me, then we're not friends. I mean, I don't understand that. It's just lack of knowledge and lack of thinking things through properly. So I wanted to talk about that today. It's been hard, right? We all, if you struggle with mental health, we have bad days, and it's been hard. Yesterday, I texted my husband. It was about 1 o'clock. Well, it was probably more about 2, because the herd was fed. They had been let out, done all that. And I said, I'm done for the day. Like, I'm done for the day. Everything that needs to be done is done, and I'm going to give myself some grace. And I just went in my bedroom and just relaxed for the rest of the day. And there's just a lot of times that you give yourself a little grace, give yourself a little love. I was telling somebody, I think on Instagram again, that they were dealing with some things, and I said, you know what I've learned for myself, and for me, Chrissy, this has been helping, is that I get up every day and I brush my teeth. I put some chapstick on. I have chapstick with me literally right here. I mean, I have it everywhere I go. I put some chapstick on, and I put my facial moisturizer on. And then I come straight into the den, which was where I'm at right now. I usually sit over by the window so I can just look out and just see what's going on. There's other things I do that happen, but first thing in the morning, that gets me going, gets me encouraged, it gets me energized. It's that tiny little bit of self-care, right? Just brushing my teeth, putting on some chapstick, and putting on some moisturizer is a tiny bit of self-care that seems to get me motivated. Now, it might not do squat for you, but for me, that helps, and there might be a little something that helps you. So I just wanted to talk about that. I think sometimes I never want to come on here and for somebody to think, well, she has it all together and she doesn't, I can't relate to her. And I don't mean this in a mean way, or that God can't handle the situation. I'm a hot mess, right? I think he's constantly up there thinking, whoo, that's my daughter and I love her, but sometimes, you know, and maybe tomorrow maybe he lifts my depression and anxiety. I never have to deal with it again. I don't know what the future holds, but I know who holds my future. And I think people say that a lot and never think about those words. I don't know what the future holds, but I know who holds my future. I don't need to know what my future holds because God's already been there. He's already seen it, and he's already walked every situation through it. He's right beside me, and when I can't walk, he's carrying me. And it's the same for you guys. When you can't walk, he is right there carrying you through. So I hope this helps somebody. Maybe you're going through something. I was not going to film today. Like I said, it's been a very scary, unknown, emotional few days, and I wasn't gonna film, but I think it's good for you to see kind of the raw, vulnerable times. And don't think because I have makeup on and I was actually able to get out of bed this morning and set up this equipment and kind of get everything going and actually talk for 20 minutes or however long this video is, that, well, she can't be feeling as bad as I am. I might not be feeling as bad as you are, but I've been where you are. I've felt as bad as you do. This is something that I'm doing because God has called me to do it. And that means that even when I'm having bad days, I have days I give myself grace, like yesterday. And I have days that I kind of push myself to do a little bit more. And if there's something that's really kind of real and raw and authentic, and I think that what I'm going through can help somebody else, then I want to be able to help somebody else. I've watched this channel grow, and every time I see a subscriber added, I just say automatic, go God, go God. Yes, this is my channel, but this is God working through me. And I've said it before, it doesn't matter to me at all if you subscribe. I don't ever ask you to. If you like the video, if you watch part of it and watch the rest of it, or skip to the end just where you can see the part where I have something that I say at the end of every video, it doesn't matter to me. That's not why I'm here. I'm here because God called me to help people that were in my exact same situation, who struggle. For me, it's struggling with depression and anxiety and being a Christian, and how all that relates, and the fact that he loves me through it all. So I end every video this way, and if you're struggling with something right now, please know that I'm praying for you. I'm trying to keep up on my Instagram messages as best I can, and it's taken me sometimes I don't see them. I have a personal account, and then I have the Stronger Everyday account, and then I actually have a third account for my other channel. So sometimes I'm still newer to Instagram, so it's not as automatic, and for me it wasn't notifying me about messages. So if it takes me a little bit to get back to you, I do apologize for that. I am watching it more now that I know that I need to actually go to Stronger Everyday and look for it, versus I typically keep it on my personal Instagram. So I will reach back out to you there. Say something more than just like hey or hi, because there are spam on there, and I just don't have time for that. I don't want my Instagram to be hacked, and there's a lot of people that need conversation with someone, and I just don't have time for the hey or hi. Say something about what's going on, or hey, I've seen you on YouTube and I wanted to talk to you about, and I'll quickly respond to that. But there's a lot of, PM me, you're this and that, and 15 other personal informations, and all of that. I just don't need that. I don't have time for that. I've got it's very important to me that I respond to your comments and to your Instagram messages, because I don't want you to think that, first of all, I'm blown away and amazed that you trust me to tell me anything about your life. And I don't take that lightly, because as you know, I've been to therapists for the past almost 3 decades. I've been off and on to therapists, and I told somebody the other day, I haven't even told my therapist what I tell you guys. It's just easier with y'all. It's easier talking with you all, and I guess God kind of thought, well, let's get vulnerable this way, right? Let's let other people know that what they're feeling isn't weird, you know, because you felt it too. And so I end every video this way, and my hope and prayer is that you feel this and that you believe it. Friends, God loves you. I love you. Your family loves you. Your friends love you. And we need you here. We'll see you in the next one, guys. Bye.